Chief, did you get any specific bills that you're for or against?
I don't, I'm against them all.
The only one that
I haven't seen anything that.
there was what, I think it was SB 5814, I thought might affect you guys. If I wrote down the right number. Bill. Oh, no, it's 1399 is the House bill and the Senate bill is 5066. I think 5066 also was last year and they tried to run it through. It was the one about taking the jobs away from not having, or having it be not the entire public vote for a sheriff and things of that nature. We might want to take a look at it before we. They're trying to get it. So, and last year it didn't go through, so.
And even though it's still within two counties, so.
Yeah. There is that.
There's quite a few things that just.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks, everyone. Welcome to a regular meeting of the Golden Vale City Council. First item on our agenda is the oath of office for positions 4, 5, 6, and 7. So will Nathaniel, Danielle, and Brian please stand right in front of the desk. And our clerk treasurer, Shelley, will administer the oath of office.
And Roger wants to take a photo as well.
Yeah, I know. I feel like that. There. I don't mind, it's every one of you.
Okay, please raise your right hand.
You look just fine.
Okay, so I state your name.
I, Danielle Plepkins,
Do solemnly swear or affirm that I am a citizen of the United States and the state of Washington.
do solemnly swear or affirm that I am a citizen of the United States and state of Washington,
That I am legally qualified to assume the office of council member.
that I am legally qualified to assume the office of council member,
That I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States and the state of Washington.
that I will support the Constitution and the laws of the United States and the state of Washington,
And that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of this office to the best of my ability.
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of this office to the best of my ability.
Welcome to our 2 new members. Glad to have you with us and
Thanks. Happy to be a part of it.
hope you find the service fulfilling and eventful.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda. Roll call. Would you please take roll call, Shelley?
Steve Johnston, absent. Leon Wheeler.
Here, present.
Lauren Meeker,
President.
Ryan Paul,
Present.
Andy Holm,
Here.
Danielle Covenant,
Here,
Nathaniel Hill.
Here. Okay, Steve Johnston had called me earlier today that he wasn't feeling up to being here today. Is there a motion to excuse?
second,
I have a motion and a second to excuse Councilmember Johnston. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, and that's closed public comment. Public comment for anything to do with the agenda. If you're here for the public hearing, that'll be the next item on the agenda. But if you have a public comment for anything else on the agenda, you're welcome to step up to the podium. Anybody on the line have their hand up?
No.
Okay, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, and we're gonna have a public hearing. I'll open up the public hearing right now. The public hearing, there has been a request to reduce the speed limit to 15 miles per hour on 21st Street, Jackson Street, Chatfield Place, and Benson Court within city limits. It's been recommended to protect the public health, safety, and welfare. The Traffic Safety Committee met a few weeks ago, and their recommendation is to enact this speed limit change after hearing from the residents. We'll have a public hearing now to hear from anybody who would like to chime in on the matter. Would anybody like to make a public comment on the public hearing to change the speed limit?
We don't have to do that like if we're all for it.
Well, yeah, at a public hearing, anybody who wants to speak for it, you can come up and just say that you're for it, or you can elaborate and say anything. Please state your name and area,
Brenda Casimiro,
and area of residency, please.
and I live on 21st Street,
Okay, great.
40 East 21st.
Thank you.
I have grandchildren and, there's a lot of elderlies that walk. There's the grandkids that play, it's not just this. And it's just scary. Because, if I'm in the yard and my kids are riding their bike out front, I have to literally stand in the road, and I've had to stop a car that just does not care at all. Just zips through there and turns around and then zips back out. And they live down at the beginning of the cul-de-sac. They really have no reason to be coming down even near where we're all at, but they do. And that's something that we can't stop, but hopefully we can get them to slow down. And with this being passed, this would just be amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Dave, it's going to be 15 unless we object, or is it gonna be 15?
Well, it'll when we come to the ordinance section of our agenda, it'll be up to the city council to
So
decide that.
you do the.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
So.
Please, for the record, state your name and area of residency.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Swearingen. I live on 21st Street and have since Andy was wee teeny to a grasshopper. Anyway, the dynamics of 21st Street have changed incredibly. She lives across the street from me and her grandkids live with her. If you're familiar with 21st, where it kind of rounds a little bit. The lady that lives there has 3 kids, little ones, all on bikes, scooters, whatever else they with. I've even found them underneath one of your trucks, Rick yelled at them. But when it's a full day and everybody's home and they got company, they're on the 2 sides of the street. We've got literally 1 lane. So Jared being exhibit A, he walks with a walker. Rick is now one of the elderly people. And he stumbles, and when he walks, there's no way he could jump out of the way. Norman's lived there forever, and he is going blind, he can't hardly see, and if you know Norman, he's not gonna jump out of the way of any car. So it's just become dangerous. And I thought if you go 15, they'll go 20 or 25. If you go 20, they're gonna go 25 or 30. Right now, they're going, I swear, 40 or more.
It just depends on the time of day and.
Yeah.
Really.
That X is one of the guilty ones. My goodness, do they ever go through? And I know kids maybe shouldn't play in the streets, but honey, they're kids, and I'm one of 10. We play in the streets and we, didn't matter how many times your mom or grandma How's that? It's gonna happen. So we just really want it as low as we can get it and keep it safe.
Great, thank you, Cheryl. Anybody else like
Can I
this?
say anything?
Yeah, Andy, go ahead.
So I grew up in that neighborhood and Noah did too. And I can tell you that, like Cheryl said, the dynamic of the neighborhood has changed. There's a lot more traffic. And I know Noah and I and a bunch of kids that used to live, we used to play in the street all day long. And there would, even then there would be the kids that would, or the cars that would come through, it would be too fast. The parents would stop the people and say, hey, there's kids out here. Well, I go out there now and there's cars go flying down 21st Street. I mean, you go from Chapel Place, turn on to 21st Street, going to Columbus. If you don't keep watching coming down the street, you're liable to almost get hit sometimes. Because they're going so fast up and down that street where it's an accident waiting to happen, in my opinion.
Thank you, Andy.
Yep.
Sorry,
That's okay.
if they have a children at play sign, is that anything that could be put there too?
That's a
As
possibility.
a wake up call, at least alert me to that situation.
We could definitely look into that. Thank you. Please, sir, step up, state your name and area of residency, please.
My name is Steve Patton and I live on 21st. I've been there 6 years, going on 7 now. And since I moved there, I have noticed seems like the people down at the very far end of 21st don't care about the speed limit because they come flying by my house all the time. And we've had the police set out a speed limit sign of 25 and they don't even pay attention to it. My suggestion is, besides lowering it at 15, why not put some speed bumps? Because people hate speed bumps. And I think that would deter a lot of the flying through, because every morning when people go to work, they fly out, I can hear them. And when they come back home at night, I can hear them coming back. And it's the loud mufflers and it's like, okay, I know somebody's coming home and they don't slow down, they just fly. And you could hear them turning off of Columbus onto 21st, turning into the neighborhood. And I just think it's getting a little crazy with the amount of speed that they're traveling, especially right there where I live right on the corner of 21st and Chatfield. And people will stop at that intersection. They fly through it, either going in or coming out. There's no slowing down, they're just whipping through there. And so we need to put either a yield sign there at that corner or a stop sign or something to slow the traffic down a little bit. Because when they come in, they just fly. And it's like, that's getting dangerous. And it's a neighborhood, the kids across the street from my house, they're always right in the intersection right there. And so it's like, someday somebody's gonna get hurt from going too fast.
Especially
Thank you, sir.
FedEx zipping through.
Yeah, the FedEx and UPS, they fly through there every morning. You can always tell when they're there because you can hear the trucks coming through. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir. Yes, Brian.
I'd like to add and assert that I came to the last city council meeting and in preparation for this meeting, I took the liberty of going to 21st Street and driving through that neighborhood on 2 separate occasions. Just before Christmas and in the interim between Christmas and New Year's. And one day I went there later in the evening, probably about 5:36. And the first time I went through was about 3:30 in the afternoon. And I was already driving through there, cruising to see the area, kind of get my understanding of what was going on and what the complaints were. And I was doing between 10 and 15 miles an hour. And even for me and my truck, that was too fast. Because as stated,
Yeah,
that is correct. And I noticed that there were vehicles parked on both sides of the street. There were kids playing in the front yard. And I'm thinking to myself, a ball rolls out, a kid decides that they're playing tag, they're not paying attention. Someone's gonna get hit, someone's gonna be entrapped between a vehicle or worse. Number 2, I noticed that the streets just are not wide enough to accommodate 2 vehicles at once. The other concern I have is fire, police response. God forbid we have a large police response where we need 2 or 3 vehicles or a fire truck and an ambulance. And being former EMS, I've worked in some very tight quarters. And I know what it's like to get in and out and try to negotiate those streets. So I am in full support of, I don't know if I'm out of line by saying this,
No,
but I'm in full support of the 15 mile an hour, because again, if we say 15, you know they're gonna do 15, or excuse me, 20 to 25. So I'm definitely for the 15-mile-an-hour based on what I saw in my
Thank you.
experiences there.
Thank you, Brian. Yes, Danielle.
Yes, I agree. I've been there numerous times. I have one of my closest friend lives off of 21st. And I just want to bring up two other things. So the yield signs that you were talking about, that isn't part of this. And I think that that should be a part of it on those coming out. I mean, I always yield because, you know, you should. It's just kind of smart practice. But if people are not doing that coming out of Chatfield or any of the other side streets from 21st, was that looked at during the special meeting?
No, we did not discuss that.
I think that that should be discussed as well, but also, has anyone talked to UPS or FedEx? Are those the biggest perpetrators? FedEx?
Yeah.
Has anyone gotten their numbers down for that by chance? The only reason I ask is because we can, if they're not from this area and it's just random, if we let them know, then they'll get talked to by their higher ups.
Yeah.
And that would be easier to get them to follow it even regardless.
See the numbers though, because they're tiny at the very top of the.
Of the trucks. So, and then, the other thing, the people that are at the very, very end that two of you spoke of, has anybody even talked to them? Because my issue is not changing any of this, because it does need to happen, and I agree, but we can change it all day long, but if the people that are not following it to begin with, they probably won't follow it again unless they've actually been spoken to or asked nicely by a neighbor. And so my thought is, has that happened? That's all.
Thank you, Danielle. Anybody else like to speak?
I think, okay. I think in response to how we talked, my name is Brenda Castamero and I live on 21st Street. I think in response to, has anybody talked to people? I'm not really sure who on the end. At the far end. Oh yeah, there's a couple of them, but, no, I haven't spoke to them. I spoke mostly with the gal who's at the front who comes ripping through. Not typically out, it's usually on a Saturday or early morning when I'm with my grandkids out there. But, I mean, I've literally stepped in front of the gal's car and said, stop, you're going way too fast. She just gets very argumentative. And we ask nice, so it's just come to this,
Okay,
to where we need to get help.
Thank you.
thank you.
Anybody else? Someone on?
Yeah.
Oh, Fiona, yes, go ahead.
Hi, yeah, so I totally agree. I think especially in neighborhoods with the cul-de-sacs, the way that they are, I know several people that live up in that area and in the apartment building, as you first enter. So I think that, the gentleman earlier that spoke, I did not get his name, but he had mentioned, speed bump. I definitely think speed bump will deter you no matter what the speed limit is, especially if you got some fancy rice burner or some, a car that, you really don't want to be going that fast over something like that. But what would that cost us? And have we discussed that?
No, this is the first time it's been brought up to my knowledge, but we can have further discussions on that. Probably want to bring in the Public Works director and see what the implications of putting speed bumps in. I'm not sure what all entails there, or if it makes it hard to plow snow with those and street sweep. I'm not sure about how all that would work. But it's definitely a conversation that we can have.
Awesome. Well, then I'm down with the stop sign or yield sign and the 15 mile an hour.
Great. Thank you, Fiona.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to make a comment? Yes, sir. Please come up to the podium and state your name and area of residency.
My name is Dan Wedgwood. I live at the end of Benson Court. And just like everybody else in here, I'm in agreement with dropping the speed limit. Unfortunately, you can't catch everybody, and there's a lot of people that are just coming in and out of there. People that are living there, guests, or just people driving through looking wheels. It's just something else that will be put on PD's plate, of course, but after the speed limit change, if maybe it could be enforced a little bit to catch those folks at the end of 21st that don't slow down or get argumentative. Someone with a little force to maybe tell them what's what, then move forward from there. Hopefully make our neighborhood a lot safer.
Thank you, Dan. Anybody else? Anybody on the line have their hand up? Okay, the last chance. Anybody else like to talk before we close this public hearing? This matter is going to be addressed later on in our council meeting today under ordinances for the city council to make a decision on. So hearing nobody else, I'll now close the public hearing. And we'll move on to the next item on our agenda. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the standing committee assignments. Section 2.04.07. Oh, what did I do, Andy? Oh, thanks, Andy. Next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda and the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda and consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Andy moves and Danielle second. Any discussion?
I have a question, a clarification.
Sure.
It shows staff present, several members, but sorry, I'm looking for his name. Doug Francham was not present, but has a statement in here, so I just wanted to clarify. Was that a statement he provided, or was he actually?
He was at the last council meeting.
Okay, so December 15th,
Yeah.
so he should be added to the staff present, not voting.
Oh. Okay, can we change that? Good catch.
So that'd be a friendly amendment to add Doug Francham to the staff present and approve the motion.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay. Any other conversation? Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda and the consent agenda with one change to add Doug Franton to the staff present. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, thanks. Well, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, and that's department reports. And we'll start over here with Fire Chief Noah Hom.
Thanks, Mayor. So I'll give you a rundown of calls. We had 192 calls for service. 74 of them were medical incidents, and 118 were fire related. There's a whole bunch of different categories, so if anybody's interested in them, got them all right here. So, and also I'd like to mention, so in December, we had 17 calls. 9 of those were from December 24th through the 31st. 2 of them being structure fires, 1 mutual aid with Earl Simon and 1 in the city limits. So that was a lot of calls right there at the end of the year that we went to. That's all I have.
Thank you, Noah. Police Chief Mike Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Compared to last year, we ended the year last year at 3,278 calls for service. This year we are 398 calls more. We finished with 3,676 calls for service. That puts us about 459.5 calls per officer per year. And so when we work 4 10s, that's a lot of calls per officer. So we definitely every year keep increasing by roughly just under 400 calls. So we've just been busy this year and just looking forward to a whole new year. We were short. We had a couple officers leave and 1 retire. Stan's no longer with us. So him and Harley retired. So we got his replacement coming in on the 16th. Austin Greenfield will be our new hire officer. And then we got the 1 more for the grant. We're still working out some kinks to the grant to get that entry level hired. So hopefully that will happen by the end of this month. So looking forward for a whole new year. So
Thank you, Chief. City Administrator Sandy Wells.
We have a meeting set up, the mayor and I with, Fawcett to do their critical areas ordinance update. So we're starting that process to get that done. And then we also have a meeting with the PUD this week, about some streetlight cost increase. So when we know more about that, I'll probably come back to you guys for probably a budget amendment or to figure out what we need to do with that. So
Great.
that's all I got.
Okay, thank you, Sandy. Okay, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, council business. First item on council business is the standing committee assignments. So section 2.04.075 discusses the process of council member appointments to each of the 4 standing committees of the city council. The 4 standing committees listed are finance, ordinance, public works, and the events committee. The purpose of the committees is listed in subsection B, while the term and membership of each is listed in subsection C. The appointment of each council committee shall be made by the council during the first meeting of January of every even year. That's today. So it's totally up to the council to decide what committees they want to be on. A couple of suggestions we've had to start it out is, one council member suggested to me to go by seniority to pick first, and then from there, or the other suggestion was to put everybody's name in a cup and draw it out like that to who picks first and second and so forth. And so if you have a committee that you really want to be on as your number 1 choice, then you can use that as your first choice. And then if it comes back around to you and your second choice is still there, then you can pick another one. No council member can be on more than 2 standing committees. So with that, I'll leave it up to the council to give me a consensus on how you would like to do that. Whether you would like to pick the names randomly out of a cup to see who goes first, or if you would like to start it off with seniority. Those are the 2 suggestions that I have. If anybody wants to chime in on that and give me a consensus.
It may just work out via consensus on who wants to be where, but also I think it makes sense for folks that have particular areas of expertise to participate on those committees. So if I want to be on the events committee for whatever reason, but Andy's done it forever and has been participating and run events, it makes a lot more sense for him to be on the events committee. So I think there's maybe some justification for having some background experience in those particular areas. So.
Yeah, it's absolutely up to
Maybe
the
just
council.
go around the table and see where we're at, and then.
Because it may just pan out without us having to do any of it, and that may get all of us where we want
And
to
if we
go.
talk to Steve, I know he's
I
not
have
here.
talked to Steve. He gave me the list of the committees he wants to be on in order of importance to him.
And I also think that it's good to have the council members that have been here a while to switch around so that we all know, so that we're more educated in these meetings. That's what I plan on doing is I'm gonna give up the 2 or want to give up the 2 I have because I want to be able to learn more about the other 2.
Yeah.
That way, the longer we're in this position, we can swap out and learn more.
Yep.
That way we're bigger assets.
Anybody else want to chime in on that?
No, I agree. I'm willing to be a part of any committee that would be beneficial to the city, but I have 3 that I could definitely, I know we can only do 2, but the 3, if anybody wanted to, put me in one of the others more so, I'm totally happy with doing that. Or replacing Myland as well. I know he's in the event and ordinance.
Can't be done.
You're very right. Those are huge shoes.
Okay. Okay, well then we can do that. We could just go around, starting with,
Budget.
we'll start with, Steve Johnston. And I'll read the top 2 that he wants to be on. Steve wants to be on, his first choice would be Public Works. And his second is Ordinance. Leon, can you give us your top 2 committees that you would like to serve on? The first one, and the second, please.
I would like to stick with Parks Committee, Public Works and Parks,
Public Works.
if possible. If not, if there's somebody that would do better, you know, with that, then then honestly, I would be okay with stepping down from that one. I would like to try events committee.
Events,
And then, I'm currently on the budget committee. And for some reason, I thought that the traffic and safety committee was a subcommittee of the public works and parks. Did you guys completely separate that?
yeah, that's completely separated as a different committee, much like the airport representation from the council. It's only one council member on each of those committees, and they're not considered part of our standing committees. So we have it in the agenda to do those separately.
I see. Okay.
Okay. Public Works, and your second choice is events. Okay, Lauren,
Public Works and Ordinance.
Public Works and Ordinance. Brian,
Events and ordinance.
Events. Ordinance. Andy,
My number one would be events, and budget would be the second one.
Danielle,
Ordinance and Public Works.
Ordinance. Nathaniel,
I will do Public Works and Budget. And then if I need to be shuffled around at all, just more than happy to do so.
okay. Okay, so there is what we have is, we have
Event committees,
5 people that want to be on the Public Works Committee, and there can only be 3. So that's what we'll have to work out is,
Which one is lacking?
the ones that are lacking
budget.
are budget. Yeah. the budget.
I could do, since they have 3 for the event, I was on the event. If I could get ordinance, that would be great, and I'll stay and keep the budget,
Okay,
if that helps.
You did well on budget this last year, and I think we made some good changes. It'd be great.
I agree.
okay,
So take you off of Public Works.
and budget,
Yes, and I would do ordinance and budget.
ordinance and budget for you. Okay. So that means we still need to lose one person off of that Public Works Committee.
You can take me off that.
Okay, Nathaniel,
It leaves me with one.
we
But
still
you
have,
have the airport, so
and we still have an opening. No, we don't.
Committee, I believe.
it is, but
You can
Yeah,
also ask
like-
Leon and see what she wants to do. If she wants to stay on that.
Joan, would you like to stay on the Public Works and the events, or would you,
I could hold the other one.
what else do we have?
I'm honestly okay with wherever you put me. I'm okay with changing. I was hoping that my relationship with the Native American local tribes here would help us with our part, and any future public works things we may have a need to, but it honestly, that if there are people that are better equipped to work with the city's parks and public works, I'm happy to step away from that and just put me wherever you need.
I can't quote Nathaniel's background, but I know you have some experience in survey and with the PUD.
Yeah.
And I would be interested in hearing Nathaniel's voice on that Public Works Committee. If Dion is okay with stepping down, and you're okay with that? I'd
Yeah,
be
totally.
interested.
Yep. Okay,
She's okay with that.
okay, and Theon, would you like to stick on the Budget Committee then?
Well,
Well,
we already have 3 on that.
We have 3 on.
she can stay on that.
So
Now,
she would just be
I-
on events.
I tell you.
Cause not everybody can be on 2, cause there's too many people and not enough.
Right,
Only 3.
and what I'm saying is, if I do ordinance committee, I would be okay with just the one. I can also help with airport. I was 30 years aviation, and I can still help with events committee and budget if you need it, just offhanded. But let her have it, so that way I would only have one, but can kind of help the other one. Does that work?
That sound good?
Okay, so
Now we've got 4 on ordinance.
take Danielle off the budget, and Theon, do you wanna go
No,
on the
there's-
budget committee?
3 on ordinance.
Steve,
Steve, Lauren and me.
that Brian said.
Oh, Brian.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Out, and I'll just take whatever is left. If that
Okay,
is fine.
do you wanna be on the budget committee though, or do you not wanna be on the budget committee?
Honestly, I thought it was gonna be a lot more than what it was. And I feel like the budget committee kind of, ends up just being who we hired to do the budget. And then, yeah, we chime in a little bit. I thought there was just gonna be a lot more, to that. So it's okay. Yeah, I can stay with budget committee. I mean, you guys have it under control quite well, and, yeah.
Okay.
Committee to
Okay,
stay on.
so let's make sure we have this squared away. I still have 4 people on the ordinance committee by my notes.
That would be my only committee, so please don't
Okay.
take me off of it.
We have Steve, Lauren, Brian, and Danielle. All on the ordinance committee. Now, are there any committees we don't have filled up yet? Public Works,
I think everything else is filled.
everything else. We need to lose one person
So
off of
events,
the ordinance.
So, there's a couple of things that I really still like to continue to work on for Public Works and Parks, and not to kick Steve off, but I know Steve probably wants to be part of that transportation committee. I don't know if he spoke to you about that.
Yes, he did. He
So
would
that
like to still be on that.
on his plate as well.
Okay,
Not as a standing committee, I'm just.
yeah, understood.
So maybe take him off of ordinance,
Steve will be on the Public Works Committee.
okay?
Theon will be on the Budget and the Events Committee. Lauren will be on the Public Works and the Ordinance Committee. Brian will be on the Events and the Ordinance Committee. Andy will be on the Events and the Budget Committee. Danielle on the Ordinance Committee. Nathaniel on Public Works and the Budget Committee. That sound good? I didn't go too heavy on any of them, did I? Check my math.
Ejected.
And then one last thing, I do see, and we kind of talked about it before, the airport commissioner position, is that a subcommittee
Yes, and we'll address that
later? That's a definite.
under number 3,
Gotcha, okay.
and we can talk about that. Okay, for the standing committees, that's where we are then, what I just read. So everybody will make copies of that and we'll distribute those. Okay, thanks, everybody. We'll move on to the next item. And the next item is designation for mayor pro tem. That on my page. In accordance with the Goldendale Municipal Code, it discusses the process by which a mayor pro tem is selected. Biennially, at the first meeting of the new council, shall designate one of their council members as mayor pro tem. A copy of the GMC is provided for your information. This is another designation up to the council. You guys can discuss it. Andy currently serves as the mayor pro tem. This choice is completely up to the council, though. It'll just take someone to nominate somebody and then a second and a vote. Andy.
I know I've done it a number of years now, and I'd like to nominate Danielle.
Okay, we have a nomination of Danielle Clevenance and a second. Okay, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we have a nomination and a second for Danielle Clevenance to be mayor pro tem. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm not voting on this one. 'Cause,
You can abstain.
yeah, I'm asleep.
Great, thanks. Danielle will be the mayor pro tem.
So the one thing we do for the mayor pro tem too is, you're also added to the checking account. Cause if the mayor's gone and we need a second signer, then you would be the second signer. So when I get that set up, I'll call them and
Perfect.
get that. I'll find out when you're available to go down and sign.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. We'll move on to the next item, and that's designation for the airport committee. Mylan Walling was our airport committee, representative from the council. The explanation is the city council shall appoint one council member to be on the airport committee and serve as a representative of the council and report back to the council, happenings with the airport committee. Currently, as it happens, Nathaniel Hill serves on the airport committee. There's nothing saying that there has to be only one. It's completely up to the council if more than one person wants to sit on that committee. But I'll leave that up to the council to discuss and decide.
I move that we have Nathaniel.
I second that.
In the
Okay,
airport committee.
we have a motion and a second for Nathaniel Hill to be the council representative on the airport committee. Would anybody like to have a discussion, or is there anybody else that would also like to be on that?
I would just maybe suggest that, you know, being cautionary about any potential conflict or interest, or even a perceived conflict of interest. And what kind of risk that puts a council member or the city at, if there is a conflict of interest. And so I'll support anything, but I just want to make sure people are covered too.
That's a good point.
Yep.
May I ask what the conflict of interest would be?
So, you know, if you have a plane out there, you want to have a hangar out there, you know, if you want to start a business out there, I think I saw something in the paper recently, that could all put us in a position where people can, you know,
Scrutinize.
get on Facebook,
Sure.
talk amongst the community,
That makes sense.
weaken the position potentially.
Yeah.
And
Seems like it would
ready to
be
do that.
one of those cases where if there is a conflict of interest, then it's the council member duty to abstain from voting officially, with that, but that's a good point.
I would also like to be on that committee since we can have more than one. I have 30 years aviation experience. It'd be silly not to.
Yeah, and it doesn't remove your.
Right, exactly.
Participate in your current position.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, we have two council members that would both like to be on the airport committee, Danielle Clevidence and,
Mayor,
yes.
I would have put my hands up, but I can't figure out how to put my hand up on this thing, so I just thought I'd talk instead. The way that the airport advisory committee is set up, we have one member from the council who is participant, but pro tem, they cannot vote. So
That's right.
I don't think we'll have a conflict simply because the council member from the city doesn't vote. They bring issues from the city and report back, but it's not a voting position. And that was set up so that because they would vote as a part of the council, no member would have two opportunities to influence anything that happens at the airport.
Then I'm gonna I don't want.
Clarification. And again, like, it's not my problem, but for you guys, it's worth considering. Okay, the airport committee only makes recommendations. The decision is made
Yes.
around this table.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna have a vote, it'd be around this table, and that's where the issues would arise.
Right, and so because of that, to ensure that we have enough people for a quorum or anything, if something came up and there were not people here, I am gonna back out and just let him do it, and if you guys need help, just let me know. How's that?
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep.
Okay. Okay. And we can address, when voting time comes, if you don't have a vote. And if it's something that you might have a conflict of interest during council voting, that's when you would abstain.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we have a motion and a second to appoint Nathaniel Hill to the Airport Advisory Committee as a council representative. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
No, but I will have covered black when it comes at you.
Okay,
So, Lauren, you're a no.
okay.
And Fiona, are you a yes or a no? Yes.
Okay, Thanks, everyone. We'll move on to the next item on council business, and that's the professional service contract for our prosecuting attorney. Lance Fitzgerald is providing prosecuting attorney services for the city. This agreement shall take effect on the first day of January through December 31st, with a compensation rate raise of $7,600 per month. The increase in the monthly cost is due to several factors, including a jump in cost for nearly every aspect of the legal profession and doing business in general. The fiscal impact is $250 raise per month. And there's the contract listed there. Anybody would like to discuss or have any questions on this?
I would like to ask a question. How many hours did we utilize him last year? Because if we only utilized him a couple times every month and they're getting paid $76,000 or $7,600, I'm inclined to say, let renegotiate. So I would like to know the hour.
Well, it's not really hours. I mean, he prosecutes every case. We had, 153 arrests last year. So out of those 153, they all go through court. He processes all of those. And so anytime the charges go through, he deals with that. We've brought up in the past, we've opened up before, no other attorneys will have even applied for that position. We've tried working with the county, when Dave Cannell was here and they refused to take our cases because of their caseload. Trying with new prosecutors coming in, that may be an option later to combine with the county, which theoretically would save us money since they do our felonies and that. And that's just 153 misdemeanors. So that's all he does is misdemeanor crimes, traffic court, all of that. So, and he's in White Salmon, so he has to drive up here to the court because this is where.
Does he get the extra pay for mileage and stuff? Okay.
So that's all kind of combined with that.
Okay.
That's always.
Is that considered, from what I've understood, that's considered a retainer? His salary per month is.
Pretty much. I don't know all the exact details on the way attorneys work. I mean, he answers his phone. Officers can call him 24/7, 7 days a week. So he is available to the city for that, for the officers for all misdemeanor crimes. We do run stuff by him before arrest, after arrest, and so it's not just court time, it's pretty time consuming job. But if you know of somebody else is looking to be that would give us a better deal, I'm open to all options and.
Yeah, Lauren.
I mean, number of years of service with the city, Mike, do you think it's even possible for there to be an arrangement with the county where they can provide the same level of service that our own independent prosecuting attorney provides? Because that availability 24 hours a day, 7 days a week is pretty tough.
It would be very convenient for us to combine with the county. I don't know why they haven't before in the past. I mean, they have their own reasons, their workload, the way they're structured, but they already do our felony cases and juvenile cases, so.
I'll make a motion that someone on staff be assigned to start working towards that with the county at this time as they're looking at changing things in their prosecuting attorney's office. To see if there's an opportunity for us to collaborate.
Until we get a new actual prosecutor of the county, nothing will move forward with that, so.
We
need to have those
There's
conversations
a
now.
new prosecutor. We've called them to find out if they were willing to be our prosecutor. But right now they're in the middle of changing one and they don't have a set one in.
Right, so as
they
they
only
look
have an
at,
interim.
as they look at change and their workload, knowing that there's an opportunity to collaborate with the city may change the structure of their office, and so now would be the time to have the conversation.
I agree.
So again, I'll make another motion that we assign someone on staff to work with the county on possibly combining those services.
And until then, I mean, because this has
Can I
us
get-
through December
Just 7 second on my motion. If not, it dies.
Okay, there is a motion on the table. To
Second.
assign, okay, the motion is to assign somebody on staff to reach out to the county.
While they're getting a new prosecutor, so
Okay.
that we can negotiate with them.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Now, any discussion, the one question I would have is, what would we do in the meantime?
That's what I was gonna say. So we can change this.
We have to have a prosecutor or we're
Right.
not charging any crimes. So my suggestion is approve the renegotiation or the new contract for this year. We can terminate a contract anytime.
That's what my question was. Can we terminate it? Okay.
Correct. I know, I haven't seen this new one, but if it's in like the last one, it will be the ability to terminate that and go with somebody else. And I'm sure there's a time frame to
60 days notice.
Yep.
Okay.
With that, and this, and the other thing with the county is it's a kind of prosecutor's elected position, so it's up to that person. It's not up to the commissioners or that, it is that elected position, and there's a lot of power with that, so whether they determine want to or not, that is, I believe, gonna be solely up to them, so it's not as.
Planning that staffing level and knowing that there's possibly a collaborate may help, and maybe to change who wants to, run for that elected position as well.
So just a question with what you said. That's an elected position, so if they're here for 2 years, they could get a new one and they could say, no, we're not doing it for the city anymore, correct?
Then we'd be back to.
Then we'd be back to this, but
We've had a struggle with finding city attorneys for as long as I've been here, so.
I'm just concerned with, 2 years down the road now, we're gonna have to go try to hire someone and we could have already had someone. That's my concern. But I also agree with what, doing that all together would make more sense, but my concern is what happens if they say no? And then we're back to the square one.
Yes, Theo?
Yeah, I was just reading, the verbiage is just a little off to me, the way it sounds. It's saying that we're only giving $250 raise so it's only $250 more than last year, but then when you stated it, you said $250 a month more than last year's contract. So
Right.
the verbiage in the actual document doesn't make sense the way that it's worded. It says a raise of $7,600 per month. Does that mean they're getting an additional $7,600 per month, or does that mean based, in addition to what they were already making, or what were they making?
All we have to do is change the motion, cross out raise of, and just put the word to in there. So it would say compensation rate to $7,600 a month, and that would be done. And I was going to do that if I did the motion anyway, because I didn't like that either.
Yeah, I would like that corrected. Thank you. And that makes more sense.
Yeah, we have a motion and a second. We have a point of order.
Yeah, just that there was a motion on the floor, some of this discussion isn't germane to it is germane to the other motion, but not the motion that's on the floor.
Okay.
So we should take a motion, vote on the motion on the floor. And Andy, I totally get your point. I also want to say that it's just to have the discussion with the county and start the process, the opportunity, and see what exists for opportunity in the future, so.
Okay. Okay, we do have a motion and a second. Separate from this to assign somebody on staff to reach out to the county about the possibility of prosecuting services. Anybody else would like to discuss or have a comment on this motion that we have on the table? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, that it's unanimous to assign somebody on staff to reach out to the county about the possibility of using prosecuting services from them. Now, so that motion has been passed.
I would like to make a motion.
Yes.
So I would like to move to authorize the mayor to execute a professional services contract with Lance Fitzgerald in the amount of $2,600 per month for the period from January 1st, 2026 to December 31st, 2026, with termination possibilities written into the contract. If we combine. 7,600, sorry.
Okay,
Yeah, not 76,000.
there is a motion.
Thank you.
There's a motion to move to authorize the mayor to execute a professional services contract with Lance Fitzgerald in the amount of $7,600 per month for the period of January first to December 31st.
With the possibility, termination possibilities written into the contract.
And that's already in there.
It is right here. You did.
It's the 60. I thought that somebody was saying that they might want to change the 60 though. If the combination happens. So I want that to be more variable is my motion. In case we get the combined. Does that make
60
sense?
would
Still be,
trials are almost a year out, and so 60 days, you would want to reset. You can't just switch.
okay, I was just doing that for the year end. Okay,
Okay, so add the addendum or no?
yeah.
Okay, so just the motion.
Yeah.
The motion as written. Okay,
Second that with a friendly amendment that there's a correction at the top of page 3, first paragraph, where it states 295 and the written number is 300. The written value will be prevail, but we should go ahead and get it correct over here. So that they match. Second line on page 3 saying
page 3.
The additional fees hourly.
correct.
Okay,
Mhm.
I'll find out which one he meant, because he wrote up this contract. I assume it was 295 and he moved it to 3. That's my guess, but
Okay. There's a motion and a second. With amendment to fix that one line on page 3. Any discussion on that motion and second? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Thanks. All right, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda. And this one requires a resolution. And it's a resolution for a designation for the Traffic Safety Committee.
I move to approve the resolution number 749, appointing Steve Johnston to Traffic Safety Committee.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. To select Steve Johnston as the council representative for the Traffic Safety Committee. Any discussion? Yes.
Just curious about the council's thoughts and Chief Smith's thoughts too. One of the intentions and the benefits of the committees is that we have 3 council members on the committees. They have good discussion, kind of get staff to do research for us, and for 3 council members to come back to council and say, hey, we think this is what should happen. And I think that if there's only one council member doing that, that it kind of weakens that benefit. Additionally, I know that sometimes, staff may come forward with some really strong opinions about things, but it's really council's decision and council's voice that should be heard. And that can be really difficult when you have multiple staff members and just one council member. So I think to get the most benefit out of a committee, you should have at least 2 council members, if not 3 participating. So that when we come back to have the discussion here at the table, you have multiple viewpoints and more support for whatever the recommendation is. So I just, think that the council should consider having more than one member on the traffic safety committee.
Since I only have one, I'd love to do it.
Okay. Anybody else have any comments or suggestions or input? Okay. We have a motion and a second to appoint Steve Johnston to the Traffic Safety Committee. The person that made the motion, would they be interested in amending that motion to include Danielle Clevenance, who made?
I made the motion, so I would include myself unless anyone else was wanting to possibly do it, but since I only have one committee, I figured this will give me something else to work on too.
Okay.
This is based on resolution number 749, which the addition of another council member would require a change to resolution number 741, where it just states that whereas the council desires to appoint a member of the traffic safety
It would have to
committee,
say 2.
we say 2.
Okay.
And that's.
Should we maybe
I don't know
approve
what
it
the
with
process
this?
is on that, if that's a public hearing, to change the ordinance or what.
So should we just add Steve and then figure out how to add Danielle
we can just
at a later date?
to amend the resolution.
Oh,
A motion to amend the resolution?
And I wouldn't put in there for 2, I would just put in for at least 1 council member. That way, at some point, if we want more, we can have more. If we need more for a specific time, that way we won't have to amend.
There's a hot topic or something.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
yeah.
Change the speed limits, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Let me recap where we are with that motion then. We have a motion and a second to appoint Steve Johnston and Danielle Clevidence to the Traffic Safety Committee and amend the resolution
What's the number?
to be at least one council member.
Thank you.
Does that sound right?
You wanted to say at least one council member,
Yes.
or you wanted to say two council members?
Instead of it saying one council member, to say at least one, then the council can make it be three if they wish.
Yes.
Right?
At least one, okay. Okay, we'll change.
Any further discussion or clarification needed? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Great. Now we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, and that's ordinances. The first ordinance we have here is ordinance 1552. We had the public hearing earlier today about this. There's been a request to reduce the speed limit to 15 miles an hour on 21st Street, Jackson Street, Chatfield Place, and Benson Court within city limits. There are two motions listed. One of them is to waive the second reading. It's up to the council to make one motion or the other. Yes.
Just a couple of comments, and one, I don't believe this was brought to the ordinance committee, we may have to change to an ordinance, is that accurate?
This was brought to the Traffic Safety Committee initially. It
If
was,
there's changes to the ordinances though, shouldn't that then subsequently go through the ordinance committee?
that's a good point.
And then secondly, and we've talked about this a couple of times, and I just think I'll make a motion. I think we need to make a change anytime that we have a geospatial reference. There needs to be a map included with that, because, we've been in here on our phones trying to figure things out and know where stuff is at, and so. I'd move that in the future, anytime a council decision involves a geospatial reference, it includes a map with that information.
I second that.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay, there's a motion and a second for future references to include a map. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thanks, that motion passes. As far as this one, it's up to the council. If anybody else would like to, make a comment or make a motion or table it.
I think that we could probably make a motion, but I do definitely think that it should be looked at for the yield signs, because that wasn't brought up. And so it needs to go to either the traffic or the ordinance boards, or both if that's required in those committees. But I think that there could be a motion that says to lower the speed to 15, and at least we can start it from there, and then look at more things if we need yield signs or something else.
I would second that.
Okay, now which motion?
So my motion is to put up well, actually, you know what? I'm not gonna do a motion. Because I do think it needs to be discussed more, because you have to figure out where they want the speed signs at on this, and I think it should go to the ordinance board also, not just traffic.
There is only one current speed limit. It's right at the beginning of 21st Street. There's only one sign up there, there is no more.
There is.
They're saying two signs.
Going that
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Yes. Going into.
Just going into but not coming out. You're saying there's two?
Yeah, okay. One, go ahead.
Yeah, a question is, are there any other streets in town that are 15 miles per hour? And then just a couple of comments for us to consider, like, are these decisions being based on technical justification and reasoning? Traffic engineering is an entire field. We should work on some more conversation amongst council and the committees on how we do this. I'm concerned that we set a precedence for more changes where hey, I want my street to be 10 miles per hour, or I want my street to be 40 miles per hour. I caution against council going down that road. Not to say it's not the right answer, but, let's have some technical justification behind that. Additionally, the problem is speeding. Mike, how are we gonna fix that for the entire city? Yeah, that's my point. So, you know, maybe speed bumps and that cost for the city is a better answer where there's problem areas. I should have known that answer was coming. And then, I trained, so those are some of the concerns that I have there. So, I don't know that we're ready at this time to make a decision on this because of, where it may put us in the future, so.
And the only answer I had to your first question is the only street that I know of is Bergen, right in front of the library, that's only 15 miles an hour. Is that?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Bergen and the 100 block of Bergen is the only 15-mile-an-hour we currently have. Everything else is 25 or 30. And so the other thing maybe just to consider too, if you're revamping, you know, speed limits are one thing, you know, we can patrol, we can write tickets all day long, but there's a lot of other things up in that area that probably need to be addressed, you know, the parking issues, the roads. That was one of the concerns that we had, even when they put in the new street back there and the city allowed it to be smaller.
Yep.
With no parking, these are all issues that come and create it hazardous to a neighborhood, you know, with that many, I mean, there's cars, you know, you park a full-size pickup up on 21st Street or Chatfield Place, Dennis Court, any of those streets, you know, and we diligently tried to not have RVs or still campers that still park there. You know, those are all complaint driven things. And so, you know, we address them as we can, you know, in between calls for service, which are extremely high right now. So it's just one of those things that there's a lot to look at other than just speed limits. You know, speed limit's a good start, you know, will it make a difference if they're not following the speed limit now? Are they gonna?
Yeah, that's my concern too.
Whatsoever? You know, there is, you know, it's just one of those things that, you know, like Warren said, where do you open it up? Where do you control the, you know, what does the community want? So it's kind of.
Yes, Brian.
Chief, has there already been a traffic enforcement emphasis placed in those neighborhoods? For example, an officer sitting up there, sitting in the area, watching and observing and writing increased tickets to kind of curtail or change the behavior in that?
I don't have a traffic officer right now. And so that's one of the things that we try to, I mean, we get complaints with traffic a lot all over. You know, we just dealt with the intersection of Roosevelt and Collins. That's why we have stop signs there to make that, and it's slowed down. It's work, talking to neighbors. It's actually a good thing. It's been productive with the school zones, coming into school zones, slows traffic down. You know, there's other means to, you know, if you're gonna follow a sign, you're gonna follow a sign. You know, up there on a dead end cul-de-sac, it's hard to patrol where, and when the street's so narrow, where do you park a patrol car to do traffic?
Sure.
It's not as easy to, you know, emphasize the patrol or do an emphasis on that versus, you know, on the highway where I can shoot radar, you know, 3 miles down the road. You know, I mean, that's the only way to verify if someone's speeding. You know, sometimes cars have the loud mufflers, have the, you know, modified exhaust, whatever, and when they're that close of an area, 25 miles an hour seems extremely fast because you have cars, everything's kind of sucked in. You know, there's other roads on, you know, the trucks coming in. We've done emphasis on that on Collins when they were coming in, and the most we got was like one truck speeding out of a month doing emphasis. You know, but you stand out there and that truck looks like it's going 100 miles an hour because it's a bigger, it's louder, it's, you know, that, you know, I'm not saying there's no speeding cars on 21st Street, you know, but you get one neighborhood with one young kid, it's a hotline. Now is your problem, you know, and we address them the best we can, you know, case to case, but it's tough in a cul-de-sac like that. So, I mean, speed bumps are great, but then you have the issue with the road department trying to plow and they are very frustrated. It's not an easy thing to work around. Maybe there's some technology out there that's better than, you know, but then you get in the cost of who's paying for it and where's the money coming from, so.
Understand.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Andy.
So first thing is, I thought this went through the ordinance committee. So it did not.
No, it just went to the traffic safety committee. We were approached by several citizens that live up there. I was personally, I had a meeting with the chief about it and, Steve Johnston, who is the only member on that traffic safety committee, and that's where we
So-
go from there.
I strongly feel this needs to be implemented, just my opinion. But at the same time, I feel that it should go to I think we just maybe jumped the gun a little bit. I think this should have went to the ordinance committee.
So your recommendation is to table this for now and take it to committee?
I wonder if there's some action that can be taken, and maybe shouldn't be taken first. I mean, if there's a parking enforcement issue, then maybe that needs to be addressed, because that definitely pushes traffic together, reduces line of sight, causes more potential for an accident to occur, and maybe we should do a parking enforcement.
Well, the parking,
emphasis.
the parking there is legal.
Wait, is
Yeah.
it legal on
Yeah.
both sides?
Yes.
With,
Yeah.
there, it narrowed it to
Yeah.
one lane.
There is no parking signs on those.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's another issue. I know everybody hates that when you take away one side of the street parking, but you know, it is dangerous when you have cars parked that much, you narrow a road. And, you know, unfortunately, there's a lot of neighborhoods that weren't designed probably the best that they could have been, you know, compared to other cities that I've been in. And, you know, and to enforce something, it's really hard to, you know, take away parking. I mean, we know what the community's already mentioned, you know, when we talk about Broadway and that, you know, there's uproars because there's not other alternative parking in those neighborhoods, and, you know, driveways are small and you barely can fit 2 cars in each driveway. And, you know, so that puts, you know, you have a family of 4 and you have 2 teenagers that drive, there's 4 cars right there. And then, and so it's,
Thank you for that clarification, Mike. And the other thing I think that we need to consider is that a speed limit change may not change it much, and it requires enforcement. And if the community wants more action and enforcement on these things, that comes at a cost. You know, we can't just pile it onto the PD. So just items to consider as we work through this issue.
Some of the thing that I think too, and why I asked if anybody had spoken to the people that you think that are doing that, the majority of them anyway, if they're repeat people doing that, maybe we could do something, and I don't know the legalities of it, but this is just a thought that would be the cheapest way, in my opinion, and we wouldn't have to change things, and hopefully it would just keep safety for everybody. And that is the city write out specific letters for all the people in those areas and say, look, we are really looking at this, or speed bumps or whatever. So if you don't want any of that to happen, slow down, because we're coming down on you. And maybe something as simple as that could work. You know, you might still get your onesie twosies that you're gonna get that are visiting or whatever, but at least it would help with the people that live in there. That might be another option. And then we wouldn't just be going high and right and, you know, doing things that would, like you said, Lauren, set precedents that we don't want to have. Cause I mean, every single street in our entire city could say the same thing, you know, and it would do that. It would be and then you wouldn't get anybody listening because everywhere is 15 miles an hour and nobody will go it. So, you know, there's a lot of truth to that. So maybe the simplest thing is just asking them, but having the city do it or the police in conjunction with each other. I don't know.
Okay, well, I have a couple suggestions to take this to the ordinance committee and have further discussion. Would the ordinance committee like to schedule a time to meet to discuss this option further with Chief Smith and myself? And now remind me who's on the ordinance committee.
That's why I was just looking to make sure that
Danielle, Lauren, and Brett.
yeah.
Next week is much better than this week.
Okay,
Let me take a look.
I agree with that as well.
next week, any certain time next week?
Tuesdays and Thursday next week, I'm totally free, so times on those days.
Tuesday?
Tuesday could work.
Chief Smith, Tuesday next week?
13.
The 10th. Oh, I'm looking on February, I'm sorry.
Tuesday the 13th.
Yeah, Tuesday the 13th.
Okay, and time?
Anything after 4:30 is good for me.
Brian,
Yeah, 1600, 1630.
wanna make it 4 o'clock? 1600?
Yeah.
That work for you, Danielle?
Works for me.
Ordinance committee Tuesday the 13th at 4 o'clock.
Okay. Get that on the calendar and we'll take that to committee and work on getting a recommendation from the ordinance committee on how to move forward with this.
So for this one, probably a motion to table.
I motion to table until after we have the ordinance meeting and then can bring it up in front of council again.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to table this to the ordinance and refer it to the ordinance committee for further recommendation and review. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so ordinance committee will be Tuesday, the 13th at 4 p.m. here at City Hall. Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda. It's a revised salary schedule by ordinance for municipal employees. The union contract for municipal employees is going to be ratified by the unions. The revised pay plan with the municipal employees and uniformed employees must be incorporated into the 2026 citywide salary grid, which must be approved by council. The salary schedule includes the new grid for a public works director, as well as city administrator, clerk treasurer, building official, and police chief. Anybody has any questions or would like to make a motion?
Just a general comment would be, it'd be an easy Excel task to have a third sheet that just is the changes, whether it could do percents and then also the valuations of the changes for each of the salary listings. Otherwise, we're looking at this and we're trying to calculate it out in each individual cell. It's really hard to assess what the change is here.
3%.
It's across the board.
3%, except for the police department was 6%.
I see some cells that have no change at all.
There was some that were no changes.
It's not 3% across the board, it's 3%. Where there is change is 3%.
Yes, except for the police department and the 2 administrative ones, those are still under negotiation, so those have not been, police admin, they're still going through negotiations. They have a separate union.
Fiona, do you have your hand up? Is that Fiona with her hand up?
Yes, I do. Sorry. That was, okay. So, I know we just recently did union, when was that? 2 years ago? So.
Oh, we just did it, at the last meeting.
We did the executive meeting at the last meeting, talking about this.
The last time we did union discussions. And union pay. That was
this is
2 years. It wasn't
Yeah,
last
this
year.
is for, yeah, just to make it clear. This is part of the salary matrix, and Chief Smith, if you could help me out with this, you know some about it, but this is for the salary matrix for non-union employees. It has been customary to move the non-union employees up at the same rate that the union employees were moved. That's how you see it too, Chief?
Yeah, it is in my contract. But
Okay, so these are not department. I am a little confused about it. So I call that we make a budget meeting based on many of the things that have been brought up in this meeting and several of the motions that have been made in this meeting. All of this needs to be brought to the budget committee. But before that happens, you guys were discussing getting some more information and some more numbers, because I think numbers are very important, like totals. I'm not seeing that. So
Okay.
If we could get on a budget committee quickly and get these numbers from the departments as quickly as possible, because we are going to have to make these changes.
We have a recommendation to refer this to the budget committee. Anybody else like to
I don't necessarily think that it needs to go to the budget committee, but I definitely think that we should have at least highlighted which ones are changing in the percentages and what they were, so that we could, as the council, know what is changing and why they are the only ones changing. And I think that that's what's confusing probably to them.
Okay.
Is that right?
Anybody else like to comment before Lauren?
Yeah, and what are the changes based on? Are these COLA or is there already been COLA and this is performance based or?
COLA.
Oh, this is COLA, okay.
Yeah, cost of living adjustment.
And so the 3% was based on other COLAs in the region or state?
It was based on the union negotiations and increases of the union employees. This is to have the non-union employees get that same COLA that the union employees are getting. That was,
Yes.
that's how we've done it in the past, and that's what it was.
I would disagree with that past procedure because there's so much more negotiated in that union contract, like that COLA is a small piece of many other moving pieces.
Mhm.
And I feel like that the inflation rates of the last year that more than a 3% COLA is warranted if it's purely based on cost of living. So I would advocate for more than a 3% increase, but again, still, there's a lot more information that should be presented with this at the get-go, including what's changing where, what it's based on. It is COLA related, that sort of thing. And it also sounds like maybe some of these terms and timelines are maybe based in some employees' contracts, and so we gotta be held in front of that. So we're not late in updating employees' pay rate and COLA, but maybe not all of them are based on the contracts. But that's something that you could work on, but just we'll summarize in saying that I think 3% COLA is maybe a little bit on the low side.
Okay. Anybody else?
So my only concern, I mean, I would agree with that, but the problem is if that's based off of union stuff, then non-union people are gonna get more of a raise, correct?
Yes, but non-union people are not getting a lot of things for the negotiating union contract. It's not apples to apples, my point.
Okay.
Mike.
Just
Mike.
thinking, yeah, okay.
Okay, we have one recommendation to refer this to the budget committee for further looking into it, and
Is that a motion?
it was just a recommendation. If anybody else would like to make a motion or any further discussion, yes, Brian.
I'll make a motion that we refer it to the budget committee just to make sure everything's on the up and up and it
Okay,
has a reasonable chance of being perused and an informed decision can be made.
okay, there is a motion to refer this to the budget committee.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second to refer this matter to the budget committee for recommendation to council. Any further discussion? Yes, Lauren.
Can the budget committee meet within the next 2 weeks and can it be brought back to council at the next council meeting so that there's not a negative impact to staff by pushing this out by a month?
The next meeting won't be until February.
Budget.
Yeah, the next council meeting, because we're going to the legislative session.
Oh, so this does have negative impact to staff.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want a budget committee meeting, but
So I guess I got a question and.
Yes.
Can you clarify, the council clarify then, does this affect? So what you're saying is you are not agreeing to what the union contract just agreed to?
not the union contract, because that's already been set. This page for the non-union.
So that one has everybody.
That was my
That's the union and the union.
So this grid has everybody, so if you're telling me that I gotta go back to my officers and say you're not,
Exactly, so,
we're not.
yeah, this is,
Officially done your contract, which we all agreed
We
to,
can't do
and
that.
there's
No, we
back
can't
pay
do that.
involved, and there's a lot of stuff, they went a year without a contract, and so.
Yep.
This is pretty devastating to me as a chief to go to my group, and I'm not gonna,
be able to give them,
I think
Right.
it's very irresponsible for the council to come back and do something to this.
can we make a
The
motion?
council isn't responsible. Let's be clear that there should be better information provided in the packet up front before we even begin this meeting. And maybe it's maybe sensible that the non-represented employees and the represented employees are in separate pay scales, so we don't have this confusion. Well, I'm trying to help people out with where our time's at, so.
Yeah.
That's basically what I was saying. So can there be a motion that we approve the portion for this with that's already been approved through council and table the portion that has nothing to do with the union?
I would second that.
I think that's getting kind of
Okay.
confusing myself.
Well, it's
Yeah.
confusing this way, but we don't want to take their pay or make them not get their pay raise yet, but we want to be fair and see what it is for the.
Now, we do have a motion on the table to refer this to the budget committee, and we had a second.
Can I redact that?
You
call
You can
I'd
redact.
like to redact my earlier commentary.
Okay, there is a redaction of the previous motion to refer this to the budget committee.
Did he make that motion or was that, I thought Theon made that motion?
Brian made the
Oh,
motion
she said, okay, sorry.
and Theon seconded it.
I seconded his motion. What I did was I just recommended that because I thought we had already approved everything that had to do with our police officers and our union people.
We did.
Am I wrong?
No, we did.
And we already met with the budget committee to give them that extra money, correct?
We did meet with the,
We did. This is for the non-union. We met for the union.
We did in the budget committee, we did approximate what we thought next year's salary was going to be when we did the budget. So we did discuss that in the budget committee.
So that
Danielle,
is
just
in
the
the
rest of my
budget,
say,
and that we
because
don't
I
need
would
to discuss.
over speaking, but just a point of clarification that I guess I don't understand how if we delay it until the next meeting, it has negative impact because there's an option to, we have to waive the second reading anyway. So are we having a negative impact if we approve this but don't waive the second reading?
There are rules, and I would like to follow them. And I'm just trying to make sure that we're not mixing things together that shouldn't be mixed together. I mean, Lord knows this police department has my support, and I believe everyone on this council's support because they are our enforcement for this city.
So can I make a motion like I was trying to split it up?
yes,
Okay, I move to approve the ordinance number 1555, amending ordinance number 1539, which is the 2026 budget and providing for a revised 2026 salary schedule for union employees only, and to table for the non-union members until after a budget meeting and more information.
okay.
Yes,
I think I got everything.
I will second that, Danielle.
I
Okay,
got everything in there. If I didn't, somebody add.
okay, we have a motion and a second. Did you get that, Sandy?
Yeah.
Okay, want to state that motion one more time, just to make sure everybody's clear? This is the motion and we already have a second.
Who was the second?
Theon,
Theon seconded, okay.
I move to approve ordinance number 1555, amending ordinance number 1539, which is the 2026 budget and providing for a revised 2026 salary schedule for union employees only. For non-union employees, we need to table until after a budget meeting and it brought back to council.
okay, any discussion on that?
Are you
That was-
waiving the second reading for that, or are you wanting to go to second?
And waive the second reading.
Leave the second reading.
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion. And Theon, you seconded the motion?
Yes.
Any further discussion? Hearing none? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. So we need to schedule a budget committee meeting then, right?
Yes.
Now,
Budget is Andy, Theon, and Nathaniel.
Can I make a comment, please?
yes,
As you guys think about budgeting this, can we think about scheduling your budget meeting? Can we think about getting that budget meeting earlier and maybe a special meeting of council if there's an opportunity to resolve this one issue and maybe talk about our past process and get some more clarity on it. We just tackle that one issue in this one, if it's feasible.
I'm open to that.
I would love that. I would be willing, as
The budget committee can meet sooner than later and then
a special meeting for us if we
and
need to.
then recommend a special meeting with that topic. Okay.
I can meet this week.
Okay.
I'm pretty booked up all this week for evenings.
Okay. How about next week? You're booked up this week, Andy?
Yeah,
I can do Monday, of next week. That's. the
I can do Monday after
Monday the 12th.
5:30.
Monday, 5:30, Fiona?
I can join on Zoom. I will be in, Prineville.
Okay,
But
Fiona?
you can do Monday at 5:30, the 12th by Zoom.
By Zoom.
Okay.
Okay. Monday. That's January 12th. It's. Okay, we have that set.
So we should probably set the other meeting too, since we can do it after that. How about, since we're also already doing an ordinance meeting at 4 o'clock on the next day after following their budget meeting? Is everyone available at 5:30 is the earliest you can do, right? You can't do
Those
that.
days will be at like more like 6:30. Doesn't get off work till, we close at 6, but
13th and 15th of next week. Can everybody else do, well, I can do 6:30 at night if anyone else can, if that's gonna be our,
I'm willing to do either.
yeah. I'm on 6:30 on the 13th.
Yes.
I can make it.
Theon, can you make 6:30 on the 13th to do the special meeting? To talk about what the budget meeting talked about so that we can resolve this ordinance?
So let me, hold on one second.
At 6:30 is good, you said, right?
should be.
They were hammering on.
We're good. Okay, so a special council meeting Tuesday, the 13th at 6:30 PM.
Fiona's
Oh, Fiona's
Yeah,
is-
I think I should be able to make the 6:30.
okay,
Okay, I Zoom though, because I'll be out of town all week.
okay,
So I should be in a hotel by then.
okay. Special council meeting Tuesday, the 13th at 6:30 PM to resolve this budget issue. Okay. All
I
right,
also would like to add in,
okay,
when we do the budget committee meeting, I really feel like we need to make a small contribution to the police department for animal control. They need to have some additional support there. This town has nothing right now, and I don't know how they're doing it or what they're doing, but we need to have a budget for something. So when we
I wouldn't do that for this special meeting personally. That
That's
could
an
be a meeting.
that can, yeah, that can be a further discussion separate from this issue, I would think. Okay. Think anybody else like to comment? Okay, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, report of officers. And we'll start over here with Nathaniel Hill. Would you have anything you'd like to report?
No, happy to be a part of this process. This was a good first meeting and happy to help serve the public as much as I possibly can and really looking forward to it.
Thanks, Nathaniel.
Thank you.
Danielle.
First, Happy New Year to everyone, and second, welcome to the council. We appreciate you volunteering. It's a fun job and it's rewarding, very rewarding. Having said that, let's get some stuff done this year. Let's do it. That's
Yes.
it. That's it.
Thanks, Danielle. Andy.
Good.
Brian,
Again, thank you for your trust in me and the voting process, and I echo the same sentiments as Mr. Hill. I work for you, and anything I can do. This has already been a very educational and informative first meeting, and looking forward to getting a lot of things done. Thank you.
thanks. Lauren,
Thanks, Nathaniel and Brian. I appreciate you guys volunteering to do this, and I like the energy and enthusiasm and engagement you bring already.
thank you. Fiona,
You're on mute, Dion.
Sorry, I don't want the reverberation. Thank you guys so much for joining. I agree. Great to have new blood, new thoughts, new passion. We do have a lot that needs to be done here, and so much has changed and is continuing to change in the next decade. I know it, and glad to have you guys on board. Nothing else. I think I said it all throughout the meeting. But so we've got our budget committee meeting, we've got our special meeting. Thank you, Mike, for everything that you guys have been doing. I've heard a lot over the scanner, and yeah, just appreciative to have this council, and I think we will do great things. Thank you. Sorry I can't be there in person. I'm the sickly one, or the traveling one. Thanks.
thank you, Fiona. Okay, and the only thing I had is, I know some of you received some communication from a person talking about cell phone 5G towers. I've had a couple council members that would like to hear more of a presentation about that. So if it's fine with the council, Sandy and myself were gonna set up a presentation to hear more about that issue that we don't know too much about, and if the council would like to hear that, we'll try to get that scheduled for either the first or second meeting in February. Okay. Okay, that's all I had. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda, and that's open public comment. Is there anybody that would like to make a public comment? Any topic? Yes, please come to the podium and state your name and area of residency, please.
My name is Budgood. I've lived here only about 3 years, and I live over by Les Schwab and the Fresh Market. Theon, is that how you pronounce her name?
Yes.
She actually mentioned something that is near and dear to me, of why I'm here tonight, is the animal problem in town. I have joined a group called Positivity that is trying to work with feral cats.
Mhm.
And there's constantly stuff about, and you see them everywhere, that, yeah, some people don't have good fences, but there are people that just think that other animals can just roam everywhere. We need to work on something to change some minds. With working with these people, they're playing shuffle. People in town say, well, what do you do? What do you do? We were talking about a cat that it ended up behind Les Schwab, and we were talking about it. These people came by, and the lady's talking, and the old man goes, well, we just take them up to the hills. Okay, that's good. You know, they take them out of town and take them up to the hills. Well, today or this week, we're working with somebody up in the hills. They tell us of a story that one time they brought 44 cats down to town.
Oh.
We're taking them from town up the hill.
Mhm.
Up the hill is bringing them back down.
Mm.
We need something. Something. I know that a long time ago there was talked about some animal control budget, and then maybe it's county or whatever. I'd like to get some delve into that, where that is and what's going on. Maybe, you know, there was something about there wasn't anybody, they couldn't hire anybody for animal control or whatever. I don't necessarily think we need animal control as somebody trying to go around and just picking up dogs off the street. We need help for people that find the cats in their yard, the dog at the side of the road, and that kind of stuff where they can bring them. We would like to try to work with the vets. There's 2 in town, and there's also Centerville has the mobile one.
Mhm.
Mid-Columbia has a fund that the Columbia Gorge Spay and Neuter Rescue, Marty Simpson is part of the group. Or they have a fund there, but that's only good there. And it's for the full price of a spay or neuter of $200. If we could get somehow, if people know the vets or how we can approach them. I mean, if they did 1 day a month, then we'd have local area where people could start trying to do some of this. What we have now is 2 hours to Portland, to the Feral Cat Coalition. They clip the things and they come back. There's no way of trying to do any kind of adoption or anything. We do have a couple of them that are trying to do some of the things of bringing them to local people and getting them not clipped, because people that want to adopt, they think the clip is unflattering. But anyhow, outside ones really need it, and then we get people, well, we don't want the ears clipped, even though they let them in and out, in and out, in and out all over the place. I would like to try to get some kind of an organization that we can get some education, whether, I don't know how, that's what I need is, how can I help? I have that I would like to go to the schools and talk. You know, how many of you guys know neighbors that are feeding the feral cats? If you're feeding them, you should fix them, because the more you feed them, the more cats they can make. Is it, you know, I don't know why people can't see that biology.
Yeah.
You know, so it is addressing, yeah, that we need some budget, some kind of that. And I'm glad you brought it up, because that brought me up here too, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Currently, we don't have a law on our books regarding cats at all. But
They need to stay in their yards.
yeah, it's a tough one.
Cats.
It's a tough one.
Good try.
Yeah. Thank you.
We're saying, police can't go in all the doors.
Thank you. Anybody else like to make a public comment? Did you have your hand up?
No,
Oh.
sorry.
Anybody on the line have their hand up? Fiona, are you trying to talk?
You're on mute, Fiona.
So, on Christmas Eve, we had to call the police to come out and remove 2 dead cats from the middle of the road in front of my mom's house, and they happened to be one of her cats. It's tragic, and it is tragic. But you know who gets called to deal with it? I mean, it was my nephew drug them to the side of the road so they wouldn't continue to get hit over. But who do you call? Who do we call?
I've been told lots of things.
Their
I
time.
asked, they've been told lots of things.
Oh, Chief Smith.
It's up to the homeowner to dispose of their own animals. Sometimes Public Works, if they're available, will remove dead animals from the roadway if they're in the roadway. We do dispatch deer sometimes if we have the resources and availability. You know, it's the same thing with deer. You know, we'll dispatch a deer that's wounded in somebody's yard, and it's up to the homeowner to dispose of that carcass. So, or they call Fish and Wildlife if they're available, but they're rarely available for, you know, deer, raccoons, other animals like that, cougars. Those are all Fish and Game, wildlife. You know, the police department doesn't deal with cats. They're feral animals. They're just one of those things that we're not equipped to deal with. You know, even animal control, we're not trained dog wranglers. You know, we do deal with dangerous dogs. You know, we go through this process, then we go through with that, dangerous dog declarations, or we have the dogs put down. This year, or I guess last year, we haven't had a call this year. Last year, I believe we put down 4 dogs. And so they were dangerous. And so we do address those on occasion. Most of 99% of the time, the dogs are just running loose. They go home. It's up to the, you know, owners to be responsible dog owners, or don't have an animal if you can't take care of it. So,
we know that.
Thank you, Chief. Anybody else like to make a public comment? Oh, Brian.
I had a quick question for the chief. It may sound silly. Is there a dog at large ordinance or municipal code?
There is
That's citable?
if we can track it down to the owner. A lot of them, people are are not getting their dog licensed. So we'll pick a, you know, dogs running loose and, you know, if you've ever tried catching a dog that runs from you, you know, here we have an officer that's, you know, backed up on calls for crimes and now we're chasing Fido down the street. You know, we do our best to get the dogs out of the immediate streets areas so they're not getting hit. You know, we try and keep them safe as well. You know, if they recognize a dog, we'll contact the dog owner. They will be cited for that dog at large or fail to license a dog is also another one. So.
Thank you.
Anybody else on the line or in person that would like to make a public comment? Hearing none, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda. And I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to adjourn. Would anybody like to comment about adjourning? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
I always give you that because why wait?
Okay, events committee.